Building trust and repairing trust are incredibly important things. I think that being a trustworthy person is one of the most underrated forms of success or accomplishment in life. And today I want to start this by sharing a story that took place a few years ago. It's just like an illustration of building trust. And it happened. I had gotten into a relationship with a young woman after many years of being totally single. And leading up to this relationship, like I said, I had been totally single and I had devoted quite a few years to an almost obsessive devotion to this emotional excavation or inner work, introspection. I had just approached that focus with a kind of reckless abandon, and a part of that focus was on learning how to become a more honest person and looking into all these parts of my character and parts of my life where I had been dishonest with myself or dishonest with others, and trying to just become a more real, honest, authentic person. And so that's what I was kind of carrying into this relationship when I got into it. And so I approached it quite a bit different from my previous romantic or intimate relationships. I was just trying to be incredibly honest and transparent about everything I was feeling and going through. Um, and the person I was seeing, she totally took to this. She was like, wait a minute, we're just going to be honest and open about everything? And I was like, yeah, I think that's the way to do it. And so she just like totally jumped on board and completely embraced this style of transparency and openness that was quite different for her than anything she'd experienced, especially in an intimate relationship, because the whole idea was like, well, let's not play games. Let's just be honest about everything we're feeling. And yeah, it was this beautiful exploration for both of us. And one of the highlights of that experience, and it's kind of a weird highlight, but to me, it just stands out as this extremely beautiful moment of that relationship. I don't know if it was a month or two into it. She was working at a cafe, and men would come into the cafe, and she often worked at the front, and she was a very beautiful young woman, and men would flirt with her and give her attention and energy. And she'd gotten used to just having fun with that, flirting back with them. And to me, flirtation is like this active thing where there's this exchange of energy and you play with something and you feed a fire together, kind of. And when she was single, that was like totally normal, healthy, fun thing to do. And she kept on doing it once we got into a relationship. And I guess at some point it dawned on her like, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right anymore. This feels like, I feel this conflict because I'm actually exchanging like nothing's happening with these men and nothing's going to happen, but there's this exchange of energy, and that actually is something. I'm actually feeding something and enjoying it on this intimate level. And so she felt a conflict. And these were the type of things that we were just talking openly about, just talk about everything. And so one day after work, she kind of just shared all of this, like completely openly. And it wasn't something that I provoked. It wasn't something I was asking about or expressing concern around. She just out of nowhere was like, Miles, I got to talk about this. There's guys who come into work and they flirt with me, and I like have been playing with that, and something about it feels wrong because now I'm with you and I want to be with you, and it's this exclusive thing, and yet I'm still doing that, and I'm not really sure what to do because it's almost just like a default habit. And yeah, she was just super honest without any provocation. And I remember feeling no sense of jealousy and just this, it was almost like this beautiful gift that I received. And I just felt so happy and so amazing that she had respected me so much that she was honest about this. Without me asking, without me inquiring, she felt like her conscience and her respect for me moved her to share this scary thing. And that sharing is like we're getting to know each other and we're establishing how much we can trust each other. Her sharing that, even though what she's sharing is her kind of habitually flirting with men, because she was open with me about it, it established a deeper level of trust and connection for me towards her. It was amazing because in the past, I had been with women who I would see like flirting with other men, and then I would ask them about it, like what's going on there, and they would deny it, and that actually felt bad. Now that someone was being open about it, the flirtation itself didn't really matter to me. It was just the honesty, because if she was doing that and bringing me into it, and like it wasn't a secret from me, I was a part of it, then all of a sudden I was cool. It was fine. There was honesty, there was transparency. A part of me could relax and breathe because we were establishing a precedent that, well, whatever happens, at least I'm going to know about it. And I didn't feel like there was a danger of something happening there. In fact, her conscience being activated and forcing her to share this with me, that to me, that made me feel more calm and more secure. And I guess that's one of the big takeaways from that story, or one of the big things I've learned about trust in general, is that one of the foundations of trust is honesty. Honesty is an act of respect. Honesty is an act of love. It's one of the highest acts of respect and love. And when we give people honesty, it's not about being perfect. It's about being honest when we're not perfect. For her, she had done something that she felt was kind of a violation of the connection we were establishing. But being honest about it was this act of great integrity and respect and transparency. And it actually made that thing that could have been seen as a problem or a conflict, it made it a source of connection for us. Very cool, fascinating, amazing. And so yeah, the revelation for me in that experience was, oh, it's not that someone is perfect or that they don't feel attracted to others. That isn't as fundamental as them being honest with me about what's going on in those intimate levels of their life, because we've chosen to share something exclusive on that level. That's that's just romantic relationships, but I think in general, honesty is one of the primary foundations of trust. Honesty, integrity. There are others, I think, but honesty is huge. And I think when trust has been broken in a relationship, often through lying, if someone betrays someone's trust and then lies about it, that can just be a complete implosion of trust. And rescuing a relationship from that point, one of the things in my experience that can help facilitate that is just copious amounts of honesty, just being extremely, extremely honest. Not perfect, because sometimes when we're trying to be perfect, we have to hide the 85% of ourselves that isn't perfect, that makes mistakes, that messes up, and or whatever percentage it is. So that the honesty is such a key to restoring trust, to building trust, and to being a trustworthy person. If you want people to trust you and to respect you, being real is one of the greatest ways, because they might not like what you have to say. They might not agree with you, but they will feel that when they talk to you, well, at least he's being real with me. At least I know Miles is going to tell me what he thinks. And even when people don't agree with that or like it, there's a sense of trust that is priceless that comes along with that type of transparency and realness. I also think it's really important to listen to ourselves and learn how to trust our feelings. And this applies to learning how to trust our feelings when we think someone is full of crap. When we feel, I think most of us have some sense of realness and truth, and we have a deep sense when we're being lied to. And learning how to listen to that, and that comes through experience, that comes through relationships, that comes from the experiences where we're lied to, and then we look back and say, man, I knew that person was full of it since the moment I met them. A part of me knew. And you learn how to listen to that part, and also to have humility with it, because I think intuition is fallible, because we are humans and we come with emotional baggage that can cloud our perfect perception. And so it's important to have humility with our intuitive and empathic impressions, and know that we project, and that we can really think that we know what's right or what's what, and we can be wrong. That's important, but it's also important to listen to that voice that says, man, I don't know, something feels off here. I don't really trust what this person's saying. And to be honest about that. And that can lead towards, that kind of transparency can course correct relationships. It gives other people the chance to be transparent. It sets the foundation for honesty in our lives. I think, for me, one of the most important things in a friend is honesty. Someone that I feel like I can trust. Someone who I feel like is just going to be real with me. That's a very, very beautiful thing. And the more the more honest we become with ourselves, the more honest we become with others, and the more we surround ourselves with real, honest people, it's likely that dishonesty will stand out more. Be like, wait a minute, what's this? Why is this person so sure of themselves? Why do they appear to have a kind of sense of surety and perfection that's inconsistent with all of the other real humans I'm used to interacting with? That's essentially what I wanted to share today. Just honesty, transparency, one of the foundations of trust, building it, restoring it. And we can only be as honest with others as we are with ourselves, and other people can only be as honest with us as they are with themselves. So if somebody, if I'm in denial about some of my habits, some of my patterns, some of my tendencies, that's a blind spot that is going to cost me relationally. It just means that people can't trust me until I get more honest and sincere with myself about that. Honesty is awesome. It's amazing. Sometimes it's scary and terrifying. It's all of those things at once. And that's all I have to say today. If you enjoyed this, please let me know. You can leave a comment. You can like this. You can subscribe if you haven't already. If you're interested in checking out my book, there is a link to all the info about that in the description or in the show notes. And until next time, have an amazing, honest day.